How's it going, everybody? So I have a lot of projects I want to do, lots of things I want to work on, and I'd love to be able to share that experience on a YouTube channel. I've wanted to make a YouTube channel for as long as I can remember, and there's always been one thing or another getting in my way. I made a couple little videos, but they just weren't up to the quality I wanted to have and all that. But you know, you gotta start somewhere. So here I am. I have my little 12 by 12 shed that I have converted into somewhat of a shop. And I've got my little GoPro 8 and no special microphone, no special lighting. I have a long way to go, but I figured if I'm gonna start somewhere, I might as well start with setting up shop, you know? I'm gonna try to get some sort of little camera rig so I don't have to worry about tripods or anything. Right now, I'm recording on a little standard. That is my tripod. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start by making a little track or something like that. I gotta do some brainstorming, some way that I don't have to worry about moving a tripod around whenever I'm working on projects and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna set up some lighting, make some actual like key lights and stuff like that. I love DIY projects, so yeah, this is gonna be like one video where I cram in a whole bunch of different things to set up shop and make it to where everything is as efficient as possible. Now, I have a tripod. It's a standard tripod, nothing special about it. The problem with the tripod is that if the desk is messy and has everything on it with tools and stuff, I can't exactly position the tripod on there, and it would probably be too tall anyway. Adjusting the height and everything like that is just a hassle. Not to mention, I can't get it at angles if I want to show directly down at whatever I'm working on. There's all kinds of flaws that comes with using a tripod in a tiny little space like this, right? It's very difficult. So instead, I want to build a camera rig where I can move my camera at any given point, at any given angle within this 3D space without too much hassle. Pretty much just pull it and move it, whatever I want, right? Turns out that's a really difficult thing to pull off. So, what I do have is I have a shelf above me, and the boards are very sturdy and stuff, so what I have in mind is mounting some sort of tracks up there on that wood and making it so that I can slide whatever camera arm I have back and forth. So that takes care of at least this dimension going side to side, but I've got to figure out the actual arm itself. So I'm gonna take a trip to the hardware store. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna see what materials they have. I'm gonna see if I can piece something together that would work as a camera arm. And for now, I'm only worried about it holding up the weight of a GoPro and a phone. But I plan on upgrading my cameras in the future, so I would like to go a little bit overkill so that it can support a DSLR or something like that should it need to in the future. So yeah, I'm gonna go do some perusing at a hardware store and see what I can come up with. I will be right back. All right, I'm back, and I got some stuff. I got a general idea, and yeah, let's send it. See if we can do this. Alright, so pardon the rain noise. It's been a minute, it's raining outside. I have a metal roof, it is what it is. But that slider works. If that's what you need for your situation, go for it. But for me, I want something that's a lot smoother, that I can move back and forth. So off camera, I did a lot of troubleshooting, brainstorming, and stuff like that, and I came up with this big thing. Now this big thing right here is very simple. It's a bunch of angle brackets set up on this pipe with the board as a frame to keep everything together, and I have some simple little pulley bearings on the end spaced out just right so I can mount it up on the rails and it slides back and forth super easy, super smooth. Now, that takes care of the slider, but what about the actual camera arm itself? Alright, so after quite a bit of deliberation and troubleshooting and things like that, I went to ye olde YouTube and found this video by Shadowfall Studios. I'll link it down below. It was super helpful. And basically, I followed their tutorial pretty much step by step, with the exception of putting little finger holds that make it easier to tighten and loosen. So, what this is an articulating camera arm, so you can expand it, contract it, and everything like that. This will help with the mobility of the camera so I can place it wherever I want to after I've split it back and forth. Basically, this camera arm means more stability, more mobility, and it helps with putting this anywhere I want in this 3D space above my workbench. So, with the arm taken care of, what are we going to do with it? Well, I've got to attach this to the sliding unit up there. And the way I'm going to do that, just as in the video, I'm going to use the same Lazy Susan bracket. I have to mount a board on each side of it. I have to attach this to the boards that the Lazy Susan is on, and then put these on wheels so that it slides back and forth on the sliding unit up there. Is that confusing? Because it sounds a little confusing to me. I'm going to go ahead and get to this. I'll see how it turns out. Yeah, I'm still kind of winging it at this point, but I'm liking how it's going. I love how this camera arm turned out. And yeah, we're almost done with the camera aspect. Then we just have to worry about the lighting and the sound. So let's get back into it. Okay, so that was a lot more effort than expected. Yeah, here we go. So this is the actual camera slider. The whole thing slides back and forth. It rotates around on the Lazy Susan, and the arm, to where it will extend and retract based off of where I need to position the camera and everything, and obviously this will be mounted up on the slider. I'll go over it all a little bit more as kind of a recap when I get the rest of the project done, but for now, yeah, camera slider is done. On to step number 2, let's see if we can build a microphone. Alright, so with the slider taken care of, now we're just down to audio and lights. So to start off with, I'm going to try to build this microphone. Now, keep in mind, I have never built a microphone before. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I will 100% be following a video that DIY Perks did. I will link that in the description below. It is so detailed, so perfect. Like, I love DIY Perks. Like, their videos are awesome. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to be following that tutorial and seeing how I can apply it to this situation. I'm not going to be building the stand and making it exactly like the video does, but I'm going to be using the same circuitry, microphone parts, and stuff like that. So if you're curious about what I'm building and how I'm building it, please just refer to that video. That's going to help you out a lot more than I will because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to set up probably a little time lapse, and there's the matter of making all of this stuff into a microphone, I guess. So yeah, here goes nothing.
Several days later.
Whew. All right, that didn't go as planned. Basically, I made the little preamp board. I spent several hours getting the pieces and soldering them up to this and making sure all my solders were clean and mechanically speaking to make sure it all went together right. And then I found this old streaming light that I had, and I took out the light part, saved that for a later project, took the wires out, and made it so that I could mount the microphone onto this. And I built this little holder for the capsule for it to mount in the middle. And then I put it all together and it didn't work. But such is the nature of some DIY projects. Sometimes they just don't work out. In this specific situation, I was really hindered by one major problem, and that is parts availability. DIY Perks did an amazing job in their video showing exactly what to do and how it works together, things like that. But the problem was I couldn't just get the parts he used and put it together like a complicated Lego set. Unfortunately, left and right every step of the way, I was trying to find a suitable substitute and things like that. And given that this is very touchy electronics, it's a very detailed stuff, if any one specific thing isn't just right and doesn't match with the rest, it can throw everything off. So the fact that this thing doesn't work right now could be any number of things, and I don't really have the time at the moment to really dive in and figure out exactly why it's not working and all of that. So I'm gonna spare you all the footage of going through all the time lapses of me making something that didn't work, and instead in the future, once I've really dove in and figured this out, I really wanna make a separate video showing what I learned from the process, and this is what I tried and didn't work, and this is what I tried and did work, to maybe help anyone else who might try to follow that video, I don't know, fill in some of the gaps and stuff like that. And basically, yeah, what the DIY community is about, learning from other people's mistakes and successes. So yeah, with the microphone failed, let's just move on. I'm gonna go ahead and make the light, and yeah, that should be about it. So yeah, let's get into making the light. All right, so now we're down to the last part. All we have to do now is set up a good lighting system, right? And this is quite complicated because normally you have multiple lights and stuff like that, and it's not like the lighting right now is particularly bad in here. So I'm gonna start by building one key light, and depending on how that goes in the future, I'll be adding different spotlights and stuff like that, figuring it out as I go basically. But for today, we're gonna be building a relatively simple key light. It's fairly cheap as well. I'm kind of stitching together a bunch of different ideas from different videos and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go over it real quick. All right, so here's the components we're gonna be working with. Basically, I have two 12-volt DC adapters. I'm gonna plug them into these little splitters that allow you to plug the wires into this, which is a dimmer switch. So the power feeds into here and you control the amount of power going to the lights with this little dimmer switch. Again, matching sets for both. Now, why do I have two of these? Because one of these is going to be a very cool light, like a very pure white, whereas the other one's going to be more of a orange light. And by dimming each one in comparison to the other, I can control the overall light to be brighter or dimmer. I can control it to be more cool white or more pure white or more orange light, whatever type of light I want. These will be coiled up inside of the pan, and then I'll have a little cover over the pan. So yeah, let's stitch this together real quick. Well, here we have it. That's the light. It looks janky as hell. This is an old t-shirt because I couldn't find a suitable pillowcase or sheet, and I didn't feel like ordering one online whenever I had a white t-shirt. It has a little tear that bugs me, so I'll probably replace it in the future. But functionally speaking, I love this light. For the money that I put into it, this is just an old microphone stand, this is an old t-shirt, this is a cake pan, some very simple electronics and stuff like that. I'm really happy with the performance. Like, you can see the duct tape joints down here. Trust me, I was working with what I had rather than buying other stuff. But long story short, it works. So with this setup, I can change the color of the lightness by turning on the pure white or turning on the orange light, and I can mix the two together to get exactly whatever tone of light that I want, and I can control the brightness and darkness by just turning this knob. It's super simple. I have it on this microphone stand, like I mentioned, and I can just move this around wherever I want it. Really happy with this, really love how it turned out. As I went through in the first part of the video, it's very simple electronics, just kind of wired it all together. I will say, make sure that you don't overvolt the little dimmer switches because they started smoking on me. I had some power adapters that were like 12.9 volts rather than 12 volts, and I used them. They worked, but the lights would flash every now and then, and smoke started coming off of the little dimmer switches. So I went to, these are 9-volt power supplies, and yes, it's a little bit dimmer, but I can leave them running for as long as I want, and it doesn't overheat or anything like that. And it's plenty of light. Like if I have these on full brightness and stuff like that, then it's actually a little bit too bright. So normally I leave them on about half light, something like that. So yeah, make sure you have the right power. If the dimmer switch says it's good for 12 volts and the lights say they're good for 12 volts, make sure you don't go over that. All right, and yeah, there you have it. It didn't exactly go 100% according to plan, but nothing really ever does. And overall, I'm really happy with how things turned out. Let's start with the camera rig. The camera rig is awesome. It turned out much better than I expected. It's so simple and easy to use. It slides back and forth super easy over my entire workbench, and the arm can extend to wherever I want it to be and put the camera at exactly whatever angle I want it to be, whenever I want it to be, and it just takes out all the hassle of having to deal with tripods and all that other garbage. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. That'll help a lot with making things a lot smoother and kind of helping with the flow of filming once I get out here and work on some projects. The light, as of right now, I have it kind of on a temporary stand. It's just on an old mic stand, and I have 2 holes, one on each side of the workbench, and I can move the light from one side to the other. It's not as specific with placement as the camera. You don't have to have just the right angle, you have to have the light coming from a general area and it'll be fine. So I'm trying to figure out how I really want to go with that. I might build 2 and have one on each side, and both of them are on an arm that I can kind of move it around a little bit, but overall it works. I'm using it right now. I have to play around with the lighting in general just to kind of understand where the main source of light should be coming from. I have several different sources right now, so it's kind of a little bit washed out. I think I can do a little bit better with the lighting quality, but more to learn for in the future. And yeah, finally, the microphone, the elephant in the room, the thing that didn't exactly go according to plan in this video. It is what it is. For now, I just have a simple little streaming microphone. It works fine and it's decent, and I mean, shoot, the audio that I've been recording this entire video with is just the stock GoPro. The only thing that it's really bad at is the outside noise and stuff like that. Whenever it's raining, you can hear the drops on the roof. Whenever the heater's on, you can hear that. It doesn't really cancel out other noise very well. So if I can use an external mic like this, it'll be a lot better sound quality regardless. And then in the future, I definitely plan on doing a more deeper dive into a more professional grade microphone, and I love to build it myself. I love DIY projects like that. It's just a little bit too in-depth for this video and this time where I'm at right now with the shop. But there you have it. The shop is set up. I am so excited. I have so many different projects that I want to work on. Oh my gosh, there's so many. And there's a lot of things that I want to change about the shop too. So I'm probably going to do a part 2 in the future at some point. Lots of little things just to make it that much better, make it a little smarter and stuff like that, smart lights or stuff like that. I'm saying stuff like that right now because I'm trying not to give too much away, but I have a lot of really cool ideas and I want to see if it's possible to make them happen before I actually go and say, I'm gonna do this and that, because I feel like some of them are a little bit far-fetched, but if I can make them work, it would be that much cooler. So for now, this is a shop setup. I can finally come in here and start working on some projects. I am so excited about it. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm gonna try to make some things and stuff. Yeah, that's about it for now. Tune in next time. Yeah, until then, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.